So, Samir, thanks for asking that question. When we talk about focus, I think we should first talk about self-awareness. Focusing on yourself to understand, like who you are, what you are, what you want. And once we have that awareness, then we can take the next step, which is actualization. And that's when we talk about how to focus, taking actual
Yes,
action.
yes, sir.
The fundamental level at which we all operate, knowingly or unknowingly, has to do with our value system. That's kind of the bottom of your being, yourself. So all our actions, everything arises from it. Samir, you are like a cameraman, right?
Right, sir.
Yeah, and so when you take a picture, you like focus that lens, right? The picture becomes clear, right? Once this mental blur, all this confusion that we live with on a daily basis, it's similar to that blur that we see, right, in the camera until you have that lens focused. That means, having a clear vision. That applies to our life too. Like having a clear vision about ourselves and who we are and what we are. And that kind of leads to a real focus. In order to really have focus in life, we need to really know what is our value system. And then based on the value system, then we have a vision for our life. Once we have the vision, then we can create the mission of life. So I
Yes.
think this awareness part is important to first understand this focus phenomena. And once this awareness part is done, then we can talk about how to focus. In order to know how to focus, we first need to know what is focus. And we need to know why focus. Anything that you do, you need mental energy, especially the practice of focusing. It needs mental energy. The energy comes from knowing your vision for your life, knowing your mission. What matters to you, why you're doing it. Knowing that gives us the energy to focus.
So, should I believe in law of attraction?
Awareness is fundamental to everything. This law of attraction doesn't put you in charge. Our philosophy is about being in charge, finding out yourself for yourself. What are those goals?
I have a goal to become a filmmaker. I continuously work on small and big tasks to reach that position, but I lose focus in these works. My thoughts that this may not work.
It sounds like you might be running out of that mental energy that you need, continuous energy. What I need in terms of having extended period of attention and activity focused on something. Motivation is the primary driver of that. If your vision is to become a famous, a very successful film director, if that's your vision, 5-year vision, 10-year vision, whatever it is, and then that leads to that motivation. So anything that you do, you're constantly, subconsciously, consciously thinking about it. If you use that motivation to start your activity, and whenever you are going away from it, you remind yourself of your vision, of your mission, right? And continue to motivate yourself. That is one way to keep on track and keep focused. And then other way would be to really just avoid all distractions, like saying no to everything else. Like just say more no's than yes. In fact, say so many no's that there are like one yes in 1,000 no's.
Yes.
Constantly just no, make no a mantra. I remember reading about Steve Jobs, and he actually said this, that his mantra was the word no. Like he would constantly say no to everything, so he could do only things that was part of his vision and mission and his life's purpose. Say no a lot. No to entertainment. No to having just hanging out for fun without purpose. No to parties, and no to dating if that takes away a lot of your time, and no to everything and anything. So you're constantly focused on what really matters to you.
I feel bored sometimes.
Yeah, that's a good question, and I deal with that myself. This boredom thing, our brains or mind need different stimuli. Anything that is repetitious, anything that's habitual, the brain kind of loses focus. So we do need a little bit of stimuli it should be just the right amount of stimuli where you can continue to focus on your activity and give the novelty that the brain is seeking. So like a lot of you have mentioned music, right? A lot of you had mentioned music as a way to maintain your focus. So whenever you feel bored or to avoid boredom, you can work with some music, but just make sure it is neutral. It's called like neuroacoustics. They have actually found out that if you use neutral music, the music that you neither like or dislike, just neutral music, it gives you just enough stimuli, to your brain. So you will not be bored and you can continue for long hours. It's also called like white noise, but it is stimulus, kind of a managed stimulus kind of. Myself use a nature kind of track. It gives me a stimulus, but also relaxes my mind where the attention becomes passive, right? The attention becomes passive. So you're not expending energy in maintaining your attention. And so that passive attention also is good to maintain long-term, long focus.
Especially like your river videos. The sound of river make me feel calm that I can sit just for 5 hours and work in rest. The relaxation lead to so much energy.
There is one thing to know. It's good to take a break after like hour and a half. So you continuously work on something and take just like a 5-minute break and then get back to it. Apparently, it is related to your literally your attention, your focus, whatever the mental, physical phenomena there are, they are kind of interlinked. There is a feedback loop, and it, in a way, believe it or not, is related to your hormonal activities in your body. So, and apparently, the hormonal activities kind of go in cycles, and it's like an hour to hour and a half kind of a thing, and so it affects your attention span and everything. So in order to maintain your focus, good time boxing, you can call it, or time blocking, or blocks of time of hour to hour and a half, and then again take a little tiny break, and then again get back to it. But get back to it quickly so that there is that attention residue, they call it, attention residue. And so if you have too much of a break, then there's another stimuli and then you can lose your interest. So get back to it quickly, but do take a break every hour and a half.
Editing as a job need our attention in a such a way that we need to sit in front of computer for very long hours. Like I can sit for 6 to 7 hours once. Still, sometimes it's difficult to focus.
That's awesome. Maybe you can just do this experiment. Try taking a break every hour and a half, 5-minute break, and just use that to stretch. Stretch your body, bring your attention to your body and breath. Like stretching and feeling these sensations in the body, right? So becoming aware of the body through sensations.
Yes, sir.
Taking deep breaths and feeling the touch of the breath in the nostrils and becoming aware of the breath through sensations, not in thought, but in sensations, in experience. So just use that 5 minutes to become aware of the body and breath. And again, remind yourself of your motivation, like your vision, your mission, just kind of running like a audio tape in your mind, right? Why you're doing this, and what is
Yes, sir.
your vision, and 10 years from now, you're seeing yourself, visualizing yourself, boom, again back to work. And so maybe instead of working 6 hours continuously, it might impact the quality of work. But if we work hour and a half and take a little 5-minute break to re-energize, revitalize through motivation, mindfulness, and then again getting back to work using neutral music, right? Again, hour and a half, again, get back, take a 5-minute break, motivate yourself and mindfulness practice, and then back, put your music back on, and then again hour and a half, like that. Maybe you can go 10 hours.
Yes, sir. Then how can we maintain productivity and creativity at high level?
Yeah, so to maintain productivity and creativity at high levels, this is what I'm suggesting, to not adversely impact any of the two, right? And maintain high levels for both. That's what I'm saying, that work in hour and a half blocks, time boxing, right? Box your time for hour and a half, 5-minute break, and then again hour and a half, 5-minute break, hour and a half. And that way you're not only productive, but also you're very highly creative. Before you start with that hour and a half time block, you remind yourself of your motivation to energize, and then become aware of your body and breath through bodily sensations, and then use this neutral music that suits your taste but doesn't create too much stimulus. Those three things, motivation, mindfulness, and music, that could become our ritual, like work ritual to maintain focus. Motivation, mindfulness, and music. Generic practice could be, number one, saying no to a lot and a lot of things, lots of things, like Steve Jobs says, right? Say no to a lot of things. Other thing would be, I would recommend saying no to this social media snapping. Phone is like always in their hand and they're constantly snapping, going in and out of it, instead of just dedicating like half hour or 1 hour, and then just look at it at that time instead of constantly going in and out of it. Man, if you can say no to that, just no social media snapping, just no or any notifications, right? Constantly checking notifications and emails. That used to be my habit, checking emails all the time. So I've stopped doing that, and it helps a lot.
I agree with what all you said, but I would just like to add some of my own reflections. So, what I feel is in this age, I mean, where we are used to so many distractions, so they actually kind of act against focus. And we have discussed in a separate session somewhere, like we talked about what is good entertainment and what is bad entertainment. So, for example, any entertainment which allows us to be actively involved in terms of our body and brain is a good entertainment. For example, reading a book is a good entertainment, but compared to that, watching a movie is not such a good entertainment because we are getting everything spoon fed. Somebody else is doing the hard work for us and imagining things and giving it to us. So, I think our habits, which involve what kind of entertainment we choose, also go to some extent in developing qualities like focus.
Yeah, that's a good point. I would like to clarify a couple of things. When I talk about motivation, right, as a ritualistic practice, whenever you work on something, first find out what motivates you. What is your motivation behind it, right? So, for example, I love movies. So when I watch movies, I have certain kind of motivation before I watch them, before I go into a theater, with that motivation that I'm going to use this to develop self-awareness, and to understand myself. Because, a lot of people watch movies for entertainment, and they watch as if they are God, right? Like a third person view. They just sit there and watch and think great, because they are sitting as if they are God and everything is happening on the screen and nothing is impacting them, right? But I don't watch movies like that. I watch movies as a main character in the movie, and so I try so hard to actually think and feel like the character. And I have to tell you, in 3 hours, you go through all kinds of emotional roller coasters, and you're living life of that character that's just running through the movie. And it helps you so much in understanding who you are, all your fears, and all your likes and dislikes, and your weaknesses and strengths and everything. So entertainment will be entertainment if you don't have any motivation to know yourself and to develop yourself. I mean, I just like to remove the word entertainment altogether. Instead of saying entertainment for body and brain, I would say no entertainment at all. Just engagement. Like watching a movie, you have to be engaged in the movie. And for me, the engagement is by being that character.
I would not go for finding out how to focus because that is the part of the philosophy that I already know and I practice. But I usually Google how to not get distracted. So earlier I have read a lot of theories regarding how like our brains are made for distractions. They crave distractions. So there was something like novelty bias that I came across yesterday as well, where your brains are automatically attracted to something that is really shiny or really very attractive than something that you're currently doing right now. So I cannot prefer like just switching off my phone for a day or for a while and then focusing, because then it will be in my brain. I will still have a thought in my head that my phone is switched off, I have to get there. So that won't let me focus on anything for that matter. So I would just let it go, and there is a certain kind of kick, okay, like in your brain whenever you have those distractions. Whenever like I scroll social media, I see some fashion models or all those cooking recipes, there is certain kick in your mind.
We need to know what to do as much as we need to know what not to do, right? And so
Yeah.
we talked about what to do to have focus, and what you're asking is what not to do to have focus, right? And that I was saying, social media snapping, just constantly responding to notifications and popping up, right? So if we avoid that,
Yeah.
and then other the real practice is just like Steve Jobs style, just say no. In fact, this morning I just started chanting the mantra. Like I just literally kept chanting no, 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 no. And it's funny. So there were at least 10 different distractions, maybe a dozen, maybe more. And just chanting no, no kept me on my track. So I had an invitation for playing ping pong. And as I was chanting no, no, I just said no. Obviously, I said in a
Yeah.
very nice way, said no. And then there was a call from an electrician. I could have answered it. That would have taken another 15, 20 minutes. I said no to it. I'm going to take care of it after the meeting. So like that, I just kept saying no, no. And I have to tell you, this stuff works. Saying no stuff really works and keeps you on track. Basically, just time boxing, time blocking, anything that you do, just do that and avoid all the distractions, and which means time boxing. And so 1 hour, if you're working on something, if you're writing a blog, just give 1 hour to it and absolutely nothing else matters. That's it. That 1 hour that's your time box. The whole universe disappears. It's just you and that for an hour. And to avoid this novelty bias, to not become a victim of novelty bias, and to give brain that stimulus it seeks, right? Use music, but make sure it's neutral. Because it is that novelty bias, and it's that kick that it is seeking, right? The brain is seeking that kick through novelty. That means stimulus, and that's why we get distracted, or we fall prey to that distraction, right? If you already substitute a stimulus like neutral music, then it's taken care of.
I practice something which I call digital detox. I keep myself away from phone for minimum of 5 days. Unless it's an important call, I do not touch the phone. It needs willpower and effort to do so, but it has actually broken the chain. I no longer scroll through Facebook whole day or check notifications of shopping malls and food delivery apps and their lucrative discounts. So I do not know what's going on and have minimum apps in my phone as much as I need. That's it.
That's cool. Yeah, digital detox. And Utkarsha, try this. This might sound kind of funny, but just as a Hindu priest or a Hindu devotee would chant a mantra, make no a mantra. And it's interesting that I'm telling you to use the word no, no, no when we're all about yes and big yes and freaking out, right? But this no is actually a way to that. Most of us are wise enough to not become pessimistic about life or nihilistic by using the word no. It's just a way to stay focused. That's the mantra no.
This person name is Carl Newport, and he's the author of this book, Digital Minimalism. So what he says is, a common thing I heard in the conversations about modern digital life was exhaustion. It's not that any one app was particularly bad when considered in isolation, but the issue was of the overall impact of having so many different shiny baubles pulling so insistently at their attention and manipulating their mood. The problem was with this frenzied activity. The urge to check Twitter or Reddit becomes a nervous twitch, is what the author says in this book. He also says that people join Facebook to stay in touch with friends across the country and then end up unable to maintain an uninterrupted conversation with the friend sitting across the table. So he is highlighting a lot of factors which affect focus due to the excessive bombardment of media and internet. So that's what the book is all about. It starts from this premise, and then he goes on building on the concept of digital minimalism and the different ways in which we can practice it.
I see. Yeah, I kind of agree with him a lot. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to use my laptop or my phone, you know. I will use digital media for engagement, like we are doing right now, correct? Like what
Yes, sir.
Krisha is doing. She's posting not just to get likes, but she has a mission here, right? Mahatman mission to motivate people and to help them become their best version, right? With that
Yes.
motivation, with that mission, she is doing all the social media stuff. So as long as there is engagement and as long as it is in line with your values, your vision, and your mission, it's okay.
Yes.
So the minimalism word is it is related, or it is addressing basically minimizing the entertainment part, just getting rid of entertainment out of from life.
Yes.
People don't like it when I say it, but that really it is, you know. Life is fun, already is fun. I mean, what more, what much, how much more entertainment we want? We live in an affluence, I mean, in a relatively really stable civilization, and everybody is kind of well to do. I'm not being insensitive to all the problems that we have in the world, but in general, I mean, how much more entertainment we want? I mean, there's just so much of it already. So why not to engage and engage 24/7? That's it.
Right, sir.
As we focus, we become an integrated being, and that's why we are able to live a fulfilling life, because at the end of the day we need that fulfillment. We are about fulfillment, not happiness. Mahatman is about fulfillment, and fulfillment is an important element of greatness. Happiness is extremely rudimentary and basic. I think fulfillment comes by living an integrated life. Integrated life means your values, your vision, your mission, your work, everything is all united, like yoga philosophy, right? You should live a united life. Your body, your mind, your thoughts, your consciousness, feelings, your emotions, your dreams. Now I'm saying values, mission, all should be united in one being. That integrated life can be achieved through focused activity from moment to moment, literally moment to moment. If we are focused and more focused, our left brain and right brain also tend to unite and not fight with each other, or our inner brain and outer brain also unite and not fight with each other. So that inner conflict, which has a biological basis, in telling this in my discussions with Shweta, you know, this mammalian reptilian brain versus prefrontal cortex, the human brain, right, is constantly fighting, right? This old brain and new brain is our biggest problem. If we focus and use this philosophy of awareness and actualization in the context of focus, we can integrate and unite this inner and outer brain, and just imagine the kind of person we can become if we are not fighting with ourselves.
In martial art, they train you physical exercises which are meant to enhance your focus ability. It's different from the exercises that we do in the gym, or breathing exercise and meditation that we do in yoga.
Yeah, that's a great one, because those are like a bottom up approach, using the physiology to affect your psychology, right? So
Yes.
doing things that we generally don't do, and that does this is scientific fact that it does help unite your left and right brain.
Same as Ame explained about imagination and visualization while reading the book, I think this imagination and visualization rewire our brain and give us a flow. And being in this flow means being focused.
Oh, that's a good word, the flow. They call it the zone, right? The athletes and high performers being in the flow.
Yes.
Kunal, what are your thoughts about everything? And then what do you generally do for your own focus, or what?
My personal thing is the first thing I used to do to-do list I which I wanted to do, and for small distraction and when I used to lose my focus, then I take a small nap, a small break, and listening the acoustic musics, fluid and the acoustic guitar. And yes, that time I agree with you, like to do a different thing which we are not habitual of is again it my focus. So
All
yes.
right, cool. To-do list. There you go, guys. Yeah, so little things like that can help, you know, maintain stay on your track and focus and not get distracted. Yeah. And I think that goes with, in a bigger sense, it goes with your values, vision, your mission, right? Just like you have a to-do list for daily errands, you can have to life list, to live list. Awesome, guys. Yeah, I think it was a really good topic that we talked about. It's going to be useful. I know we got only one life, so let's live it the way we want to, but let's live with focus. So we are fulfilled at the end, yeah.